Switch. Switch.
Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side.
Day we hustle, but the night we
Know that they ride or die. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side.
Day we hustle, but the night we
Boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. My name came up a lot, it sounds more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. My name came up a lot, it sounds more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. My name came up a lot, it sounds more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. My name came up a lot, it sounds more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. I'm a OG boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. OG boy.
Day we hustle, but the night we
OG boy. Know that they ride or die. I'm a OG boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side.
Day we hustle, but
Know that they ride or die. Know that they fly, know that they ride or die. CJ Ike, they ain't no longer about. They ain't no longer about. They ain't no longer about. CJ Ike, they ain't no longer about.
day we hustle, but the night we
Boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side.
day we hustle, but the night we
Boys by my side. Know that they ride or die.
I pull up in that Lambo with the 10 on it. Everything on flip, 14 got a rims on it. I pull up in that Lambo with the 10 on it. Everything on flip, 14 got a rims on it. I pull up in that, 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 pull up Lambo with the 10 got it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, KIR Drift Championship, round number 2 at Calder Park Raceway. Now, I usually say this place is cold, but today's going to be an absolute monster. Please look after yourselves, make sure you're sunscreen. All of our track team, look after yourselves as well. Give us a wave down if you've got any dramas. My name is Tony B. I'm on the microphone today, joined by my good mate, Christian Stella.
Tony. Round bloody 2, Autobahn KIR Drift Championship. We are here at the one and only, the crossover.
Yeah, the crossover layer is mega. It's we've already seen it in practice this morning. You know, pretty wild entries. Not allowed to do a scando. You guys watching on the hill and anyone that'll be watching on the live stream shortly, they're not allowed to do the big flick the opposite direction. So what you'll see, and we'll explain it as the day's going on, is it's a fast, high-speed, single flick at the wall, which is aggro.
It's insane. So a lot of these drivers are going to be getting up to like 140, 150 kilometers an hour on compressing the rear end of the car. Big flick up to a concrete barrier. Now, we have seen some minor casualties. I think was Bar, Timmy Rogers
smashed a tail light.
Hit it, yeah. And like, that's a thing, like this layout is brutal, it's punishment.
Yeah, it's a lot of commitment going into the first outside zone. And you'll hear us using that language, inside zone, outside zone, clipping point, all of that sort of stuff. For your new drift fans, what that is this, you can see on the track, you might not see it on the live stream, maybe you can just see the two orange tall bollards on the left of screen on the live stream. That is our first outside fill zone. So the drivers are going to come flat out down the Calder Park drag strip and put the back bumper and tail lights right between those cones and drag it all the way down the wall.
Yeah, and I mean, as you can see, like, you have a better view on the live stream, but as you can see, all the tyre marks and the scrubbing, you can see where the drivers are getting quite close to the wall and comfortable. They're filling the zones. A lot of these guys are dialed, and it's going to make for some really interesting battles later. Now, there has been some pain points from the judges' perspective in terms of left foot braking.
Yes.
Now, left foot braking comes natural when you're carrying all that speed and you need to make it to outside zone touch and go, which is the second clip. Now, the judges don't want any left foot brakes, so it's going to really diversify the drivers and find out who's really the guy that's going to be full throttle, full angle, no left foot brake, full commitment the whole way.
Yeah, I guess that was the point. It's such a high speed entry, and we've got such a range of cars. So there's, Falcons and even Gav's BMW, he's about one of our first qualifiers. He'll have one of the lowest horsepower cars. So the only way you combat your lower horsepower is road speed.
Yeah.
So there's no room to brake. We don't want you to be going slowly because you need to carry the momentum around the whole course.
Yeah.
So getting into this turn one, you'll see some of the higher horsepower cars have a little bit more margin for error. They'll have a little bit more in the tank that they can play with. But at the end of the day, it's the commitment, and you'll see it very clearly who's confident, who's committed going into that first rear bumper outside zone.
100%, and look, it's going to make for an interesting day. We have had some mechanical casualties along the way. I just got word in then that Cam Martin has unfortunately bent a bunch of control arms.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so this, as you said, the full commitment in, but then if you hit that ripple strip, or if you go off circuit, it does some damage.
Yeah, it's a type of layout that can really, it really rewards the hard driving, but it also punishes pretty badly if you make a mistake. Coming off the wall, if you can get out of that first zone cleanly, then you're heading through this crossover piece of the track, which leads you into the Thunderdome. So this is why this is called the crossover. But these two outside zones in the middle hump section of the track are treated as touch and go. So we want to see the drivers coming down the drag strip as fast as they can, and then the back wheels to be into between those two cones, obviously on the black stuff, we want them on the road, but just getting into that zone and then coming out of it again on transition.
Correct.
But this whole first corner, this whole arc, we want to see the cars tyre smoking, but not slowing down. So it's important to come off the wall on power to get to that first touch and go, and then the flick back down the hill.
It's also maintaining angle as well. So to do that, you need to have that angle locked in, no wavering, no left foot brake, nothing funny, no funny business going on. We want to see a clean sweep into the entirety of turn one. So turn one has a zone, which is up on the wall. The second outer zone is, and so second and third, they're touch and goes. So basically the drivers need to touch the car in the box at some point. They don't need to stick with it the whole way through it. They just need to touch the box. Then they dip down and they float all the way down to the last outer zone where they need to fill the box nice and wide and then come up through the concrete barriers and they'll be wrapped up.
So it may not, it may look like, a left and a right. There's not that many corners really, but the elevation change, the speed, the concrete walls, all of those things are the elements of danger. They're all the things that we've already seen in practice this morning that, if you get it wrong, you're going to do some serious damage.
100%, and these guys are carrying a lot of speed, so we'll see how we go. We got Gav on the line, about to take off very shortly for his first qualifying run. This is one of our lower power vehicles in the fleet at the moment, so we'll see how they go.
All right, and Gav missed out on round number one. He has entered round number two. So we're going to get live, rocking and rolling on the live stream. Thank you guys for joining us online. If you don't happen to be at Calder Park Raceway, thank you guys. Make sure on the live stream, let us know where you're watching from. We'll try and have a chat with you as well as the day goes on. But Gav Considine in the E30 BMW on the start line, getting ready for his first qualifying lap. Now, in our qualifying regs, all of the drivers have got to do at least one.
Correct.
Ideally two, so that they can maybe get one in the bank and then do a better one. But they've got to do at least one to compete in the battles later on this afternoon.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so that's the rules. They need to at least complete one run, but a lot of these drivers, they kind of take it easy on the first one, just to get some points up, and then they full send on the second.
Yeah, that's it. It's the banker lap, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
You know, it might be the first time competing in our situation, so in this round of the championship, you know, there's going to be a bit of nerves. You want to shake that off and get into it, but getting that first lap done, getting something on the board, and then coming back for a bigger second run. Here we go. Gav Considine coming in for his first qualifying run. Long run up down the front straight. Here we go.
Gav doing a great job outside zone one. Little waiver there as he arcs over to outside clip, then into the third clip. Does a great job there, keeps maintaining. Misses that box towards the end, and then he does over time. So, as you can see, the speed he needs to carry needs to be consistent the whole time. He needs to just flat out, you can hear him, he's on throttle the whole way.
Yeah, that's it. It looks like he just had to grab, just to steady the car coming up on the wall, grabbed a slight bit of handbrake just on the wall to steady the car. That was all good. And then it looks like, you know, washed off a little bit of angle, floated through the touch and go, got into that one. But yeah, like we said, the last fill zone, which is down the bottom of the hill, didn't get the back wheels into it, so there's a bit of a deduction for that, but he's completed a lap, he's on the board, he will be battling later on this afternoon.
Alrighty, up next we're going to have Jaden Snell in the from South Australia in the 180SX from Snell Motorsport, Zoo Performance sponsored. Now, Jaden's brother Ben. Oh, he's Victorian.
Yeah.
Oh, he moved.
All right, he's always been Vic.
All right.
That was my fault. I did the kilometry notes. My apologies.
Junie,
All
after
good.
this I need your help.
Anyway, we haven't seen him on the start line yet, but if
No.
you've seen the car, it is a twin-turbo V8 180.
Yeah.
And it looks mega.
It is off its head. It is definitely one of the most amazing. Like the build just looks and sounds great. Like
Mega.
it's insane. Mega. Correct. Big twins hanging out of the bonnet. It'd be interesting to see how he goes.
There we go.
Here we go. There's the beast.
So the rear radiator set up in the back hatch. You see that a lot in drift cars, especially with some pretty major engine conversions, because you've got a lot of pipe work in the front of the car that you've got to get everything to work, that a lot of the drivers will opt to put the radiator in the back just for crash protection as well, for physical space and fabrication. But that is absolutely mega. Two big thermo fans on that thing. The car looks absolutely awesome. All right, on the start line, getting ready to set for his first qualifying run. Looking very, very tidy in practice. The main thing is get this first lap done, get the banker in the books, and you'll be good to battle later on this afternoon. Thank you guys for joining us on the live stream. We can see you guys there, Richard, Mike, 420 AU. We can see you there, Ryan King, Ty Medora, whoever, Ty, there you go, and the choice files. They're all in there. Here we go.
Jaden. Send it, mate. Big V8. Flicks up, completes the full box. Great job on outside zone one. Then has a little bit of a wobble and a left foot brake coming over to 2. Switches over to 3. Nice snap flick. Then coasts all the way down to 2. Fills the box completely. Massive smoke show over the line. Does a phenomenal job. The initiation and the entry was he had a lot of commitment in the initiation, but then as he kind of floated over to outside zone 2, there's a little bit of a waver and a wobble.
Yeah, that's it. He's coming along the wall there. Probably comes out of the box just that little bit early, which then meant he was a couple of car lengths away from the touch and go, the first touch and go on the crossover. coming down the hill looked really dialed. You know, he was able to gather himself up, fill that bottom zone absolutely completely. So the second half of the run was a lot tidier, a lot on point on what the judges are after. It's just about getting into that wall zone, getting off the wall at the right amount of time, and getting into that first touch and go zone.
Yeah, he's going to have some points on the board, which is going to be good. So it'll be interesting to see what he does on the second run. As the judges did say that this layout is kind of 60-40. A lot of the points are on the initiation, the flick, the entry, and coming into outside zone 2, rather than the bottom half where you're basically coasting with power.
Yeah, that's it. It's the setup of the lap, and it's very common in drifting that the first corner or the first touch and go area, and then the first main transition, that's where a lot of the scoring is going to be, a lot of the weighting of the scoring is going to land, because if you get that wrong, then the flow of the second half of the lap can be impacted pretty dramatically. So
Correct.
The first half of the lap is weighted sort of 60 and the second half is 40.
Yeah.
So you really got to get that first half of the lap sorted.
And that's reflected in the run. So Jaden just scored a 55.3.
Yep.
So that is definitely, as explained, it's weighted there.
So that's it. A possible maximum score of 100. I don't think it's physically possible or humanly possible to get 100 because that's kind of the goal. What we'll see is people will, they'll get their first run done, have a look, have a bit of an analyse of where he's gone, and then he's like, right, I've got to get turn 1 right, I've got to get that first touch and go right, and he'll score quite a bit higher. So Gav Considine's put his banker in. His first couple of corners were not too bad, but then the second half of the lap sort of fell away a little bit.
Yeah.
So he was a 47.3 for his first lap out. What we have on screen, on the live stream, and here at Calder Park is Ride with a Pro with the KIR crew. And this is one of our drivers, Pete Pham from Drift Cadet, taking passenger hot laps in the crossover layout in the Drift Cadet 86.
Yeah, Ride with the Pro is really interesting. So for those that are at home that aren't too sure what Ride with the Pro is, what it is basically is that you can pay to jump in a pro car and go for one of the most insane laps of your life. It's considering how expensive the sport is to get in, for a couple of laps, it is totally 100% worth it. There's multiple cars that are out there driving today.
Yeah, so I think we've got Nathan Dundervik in the KE70 grey absolute monster machine. Pete in the Drift Cadet 86. And I think some of our drivers will opt to go for a ride. If they get knocked out in the top 32, there's a chance that they'll take some passenger rides as well. So it's a great opportunity for you to experience this competition layout that we don't often get to do on a normal sort of Friday night drift or any other normal event. So yeah, very, very cool to be able to go for a hot lap in a drift car. Really cool.
Alrighty, on the line, we're gonna have the young gun.
Yeah.
Nathan Atkinson. Now, Nathan's been driving since he was 16.
I was going to say teenager, yeah.
He was 16 years old. He was on his L plates.
Yep.
He built a car, and he went to drift skills back in the day.
Yep.
Did a bunch of laps, and the first time he was out there, he was scando flicking and doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
So
You're about to witness how crazy Nathan's driving is. So, here we go. Nathan, off the line, charging up to outside zone 1. Decompression flick. Great job on outside zone 1. Lots of power. Maintains angle. Transitions over from 2 to 3. Great job filling all the boxes, coasting all the way down right to the end of the track. Power on. Smoke over the finish line. Nathan Atkinson, the young gun.
What an impressive opening qualifying lap. Now, Nathan hasn't competed in round 1, so he's joined us for round 2 of the Drift Championship this year. But he also hasn't done a heap of laps over the last few years. He's been developing the car, working on, the setup, the rear end, the performance of the vehicle. But look, straight out of the box, aside from a bit of a wheel drop on the last little clip there, that was a pretty solid opening quali.
Yeah, honestly, Nathan's driving has always been quite good, but for some reason, he doesn't drive, and then he gets better. How?
Yeah, I don't know how everyone else needs seat time, and he just doesn't, and he just is mega as soon as he comes out of the gates.
maybe he's like sim drifting or something.
Is he secret sim drifting and we don't know?
He has to be. He has to be doing something.
Oh, all right. Well, that will certainly, there'll be a few things that the judges will pick on, but I think that will be a bit of an example of what you'd expect. We want to see that big commitment into that first outside zone, on the power, going through the crossover, hitting those touch and go points, and probably just pulling it up a little bit going down the hill. But yeah, that's about the only real thing that I could spot from here. Our judging team up on the truck here, we have the man from Keeper Reed himself, Mr. Josh Rogers. We have Lee Pidwell and Zach Starnsey. So our team here, very experienced judges, been around the game a very long time.
Alrighty, up next was Fitzgerald RX-7 with an RB. Was ripped his rear off just in practice, but he's kept it off the wall that time. Oh, it looks like the car has lost power. Sounds like he's got a rotary again, but it's actually an RB. There we go.
Alright.
There was some issues, mechanical, unfortunately.
So he was very aggressive in practice earlier on. He was one of the drivers that rubbed his rear bumper all the way down the wall, and it took a chunk of the bumper out and a chunk of the rear bumper reinforcement, and I think he stayed away from the wall just a little bit there, but it has come out of power. You can see on the Pertec Bayswater replay that it just comes out of power, and then either he couldn't get it into gear, or whether it's run out of fuel or whatever else. Like, it could be a surging issue. We'll find out from Woz what the go is.
Yeah, 100%. And like Woz has been an OG driver for many, many years. He back in the day he had the MX-5, and the RX-7's been serving him well. Alrighty,
Right, on
we
the
got
line.
a 350Z.
I think our only
Look at that, Brett
350 in the competition this year, Brett Jones from South Australia. Very epic bit of kit. Heap of GK Tech performance parts under the front of that car, looking all really reasonable. Just slightly, that first initiation, I was speaking to Brett a bit earlier, it looks like the car just struggles to just be settled going into the wall area. So yeah, just that's what we're saying at the start of the show, was getting the car settled on that first corner allows for the nice flow through the rest of the lap. So if you're a little bit, a bit nervous getting near the wall or a little bit out of whack, it can really, slow down or really lose the momentum of the overall flow. But Brett Jones from South Australia, very tidy looking 350Z, and the only 350Z at the moment in our KIR Drift Championship. Pete's getting some more laps done in that ride with a pro. Certainly, if you're interested in going for a ride today in one of the drift cars, enter the KIR 10. Sign your life away, and we'll put you in the passenger side of the car.
Here we go, Warwick Fitzgerald. Nope, something wrong with the car. Doesn't like it.
Taking the left-hand turn and getting into the pits there.
Yeah, he's
Gonna
gonna
be
go.
something going on.
Yeah, he's gonna fix something up. Hopefully it's just the cooler piping or something like that.
Look, it'd be so good if it was just something easy. Yeah, Warwick Fitzgerald was fab on Insta, put an RB25 in an FDRX7. What an incredible job. All right, so looking over the qualifying results so far, Nathan Atkinson is our top qualifier at the moment with a score of 87.5. So 87.5 for his first qualifying run. And it was really just a few points down the bottom of the hill that was not too bad. So very, very cool from Nate. All right. VA Ford Falcon. It almost doesn't matter what type of car. Bring it out, come drifting. We are certainly seeing a number of AU, BA, VF Falcons, a few Commodores. Like, we're getting some of that Aussie flavour in the drift crews, and it's pretty cool. Taylor Sisko is getting his first lap done.
It's definitely good to see a lot of Aussie cars that are kind of just, because it's so expensive to buy a JDM.
Oh yeah.
Gone are the days.
Yeah.
So just accept it, build something that, you know, is readily available parts, relatively cheap. And these cars, they just keep going and going and going. They're sesh cars, they keep going.
Absolutely. And there's plenty of steering modification stuff now. There's a lot of gear that you can use for that car. Nathan Dundervik on a ride with a pro. Whoever's in the passenger seat of that car is certainly getting a wild ride today. So if you can see on the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, we are trialing a brand new piece of drift judging technology. The little yellow device mounted to the bonnet, mounted to the roof of the Falcon there. You can see it just on the right-hand side of the screen. That is our Wally drifting technology. That is measuring the speed of the car, the angle, how close they're getting to the zones, filling the zones, and then eventually that's going to be used to judge the two cars going together. So you're going to be able to measure how close they are together, and we'll try and bring you some footage in a digital environment of what that all looks like. Pretty mega bit of new technology.
The stuff you can do with Wally is insane. Like,
Absolutely mega.
It makes me happy and like, makes me want to get one for my car that I don't drive anymore, just so I can leave it in the anyway.
Get involved.
Get involved. We got Russ.
That is everything that the car's got. It was
All natural, no turbo. He's sending it top of third gear on the limiter. I don't even think it touched the limiter, actually. I lied, because it's just struggling. That's all it's got.
And that's the range. We were talking about that at the start. The range of horsepower across all the cars entered this weekend is pretty wild. And it doesn't mean you don't need to have the most powerful car. You just need to drive it such. You just need to give it absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And Ross getting down there just grabs the wheel into that zone, which was okay. Probably needed to go a little bit deeper down the bottom there. And yeah, coming through the wall, it looked like it was reasonably close. Just had to grab a little bit of handbrake to steady the car into the zone. So we'll get knocked back a little bit on that, because we want basically a full power type entry into this first outside zone.
Yeah.
So that you can maintain the speed and flow into the crossover.
Yeah. What a lovely shot of Calder Park.
Isn't it mega?
I know. It's so good. Well done. With his drone operating, phenomenal. Good job.
Got a few drones out today. It's looking pretty good. All right, Jason Hayden, ladies and gentlemen, Team 2J, check out the rear wing on this machine. Steady into zone 1, misses the outside touch and go in 2, and just floats down the bottom of the hill. Probably just a little bit shaky on the opening poly run. It's not too bad.
That's all right. It's points. It's still points.
Yeah.
You know, Jason's got a handful of a car there to drive. I mean, that thing's got everything. If you can think of something's a mod on a car, it's been done. It's 2J. It's like forged. It's stroked. It's got all the whiz bangs, rear radiator, big old turbo, ethanol, blah blah. Like it's got everything. It's got the works.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And he steers the hell out of that car. I've seen him sesh that car once on a practice day, and he was getting lap after lap after lap. It's just insane.
Very, very cool car. Just probably the setup a little bit coming into turn 1. Just it's a little shaky coming into such a high speed, such an aggressive flick right at the wall, that when you get it right, it looks really obvious. And it looks so cool when you get it right, because the car just floats.
Yeah, let's see if Nathan Dundervik can do it, can demonstrate for us, eh? All gas, the whole way. From the start, he like handbrake flicks up and then just full throttle the entire way. It's honestly impressive. Look at him go. Just smoking out the camera.
He does a lot of our Ride with a Pro sessions, and look, he's probably done the more laps at Calder Park than anyone else I know. And I think he brings like 40 tyres each time he comes to the track. Like a pair of tyres barely lasts a lap.
Yep. All right, here we go. Another Ford Falcon in the blue. Oh! Bit of a scrape on the wall. Exactly what you want to see. Consistent flow, then it kind of falls apart as he goes over to outside outside zone 3, then comes over to 4, fills that whole box, crosses over the line, bit of power. Bloody phenomenal job by Luke there. Honestly, it's just the initiation, he filled the whole box, dragged the bumper onto the wall. Amazing.
Check it out as the camera pans around like that. Oh, there is nothing in it.
Yeah.
If his rear bumper or wing or something didn't just touch the wall, I'd be very surprised.
100%.
Look, through the middle part there, the touch and goes, a little bit shallow. He does get down into that bottom zone. But again, for a completely naturally aspirated AU Falcon,
Oh, phenomenal job.
that lap was mega.
AU Drift Society, mate. They've got a group. They know what they're doing. These
Yeah.
guys know how to drive.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us up on the hill. What a great shot from our drone pilot. Thank you guys. Give the drone a bit of a wave. You're on the live stream, and thank you guys for joining us on the live stream. We really appreciate it. It is just on a bit over 11:30 in Melbourne time in Australia for those tuning in from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us.
And it does feel like, it feels like over 30 degrees right now. It is going to be a scorcher today.
Yeah, we're expecting 39, I think it was, 38 or 39 degrees here at Calder.
Yeah.
The wind will die down just a little bit, so please look after yourselves, grab a water. Make sure you, up the top here, there's obviously all our food trucks, merchandise from the Keep It Red crew. There's an ice cream van. I'm going to be rating that a little later on, I reckon.
Oh, 100%. I'm definitely going to get an ice cream later. But on the line, we have Matthew Taylor in the BMW E46, sponsored by Melbourne-wide rubbish removal. Now, Matthew, his car,
Yeah.
it's got a bit of sauce.
Oh yeah, she's spicy.
Let's see how he goes here.
Yeah, down the front straight, down the drag strip. Here's the entry. That was a big flick into turn number 1. Misses first touching completely. Gets into the second one. Down the bottom of the hill. Will it slow deep enough? Not quite. Down the side.
Yeah, a lot of this is timing. It's as you saw, he had the right amount of speed. He was on the first point, perfect. But he came on throttle just too early, which then pulled the car all the way into the front of that ripple strip, which is not where he needs to be. He needs to be deep, as you just see there on the live stream, and then transitions over to 3, and then just doesn't have that speed commitment as he splits in. So it's all about line. Everything's about line for this layout and how you set yourself up for the initiation, and then how you set yourself up for turn 2. Because if you miss that second outside zone, you kind of ruin the rest of the run.
It's really hard to recover from that position. Really, really hard to recover. I mean, you can do your best, you flick down the hill, and that's okay. But your overall point score is going to be less because those 2 touch and goes are really worth less because it's kind of the float zone. You're just kind of getting it done. We separate the men from the boys and the ladies from the women and all that other whatever chaos we want to call there. We separate the dedicated from the nervous on turn 1.
Yeah. Speaking of dedicated, Theodore Mialidis.
Whoa!
Big flick in. Theodore. Not as much angle as we'd like, then winds the angle on as he comes onto outside zone 2, then hits that snap transition over to 3, throws him nice and deep, touches a little bit of dirt on the tail end of the course there. But the initiation, he had the speed, just didn't have the right amount of angle.
Yeah, that's it. It's getting enough angle so that you're really well set up. And when you're sitting on big steering angle, you can get on the power sooner because you're using your sideways momentum to manage your overall road speed. So winding on big angle coming into turn 1 and getting on the gas early will allow the flow of the rest of the track. So you'll see people that are maybe a little bit more shallow on their angle. They might, they'll either come off the wall early or they'll be a little bit shallow through the the first touch and go.
Yeah.
And then they'll snap transition down the bottom of the hill. But half the run's already over by that point.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's kind of like a little bit too late. You need to go full commit at the start and pray that you trust your car, you trust your tires, your suspension setup, and you don't put it in the wall. So
like we've pretty much seen this morning already.
Yeah, we have seen multiple times. So we'll see how we go. Okay, on the line we have Ben Loft in the T28, basically stock S15. Now this is This is an expensive car to be drifting,
Yes.
and Ben's been driving this car for years.
Yeah, look, he's had it when he got it when they were cheap,
Yeah.
and now they've become expensive, but the thing's too drifted already, I reckon. Let's see what he can do coming into first outside zone.
Ben doing a great job filling outside zone while maintaining that angle and speed. Over to 2, misses the touch and goes slightly, then transition snaps over to 3, goes nice and deep into 4, then crosses the line. So that car makes maybe 200 kilowatts on a cold day.
Yeah.
Today, it's probably making like 140, 150 if that.
Heat zone.
Heat soak, yeah, weather plays a big part, and Ben does a phenomenal job in showcasing how an underpowered car with a power band like a turbo
Yeah.
can still maintain, you know, doing the course quite well. So Ben did a phenomenal job. It'll be interesting to see what he scores. He did LASIK points. Oh, there we go. Ben Loft, he's now currently second with a 73.3.
And I guess going through the qualifying order at the moment, right up there in the blue AU Falcon, sitting in position 3 is Luke Sanders, which was an absolutely incredible first run. I reckon he's got a bit more in the tank. AU Drift Society, blue AU Falcon has certainly got a bit more in the tank. Jason Hayden, Team 2J, currently sitting in position number 4. So you've got top qualifier, bragging rights for now, at least, is Nathan Atkinson in the Atkinson Motorsport S13.
The young gun, mate, showing everyone up. Well, look, the big gun drivers haven't been out yet, so, but still, an 87.5 is extremely respectable. It is an amazing score.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But let's see Stan the man, Stan K, who's on the line, leaving right now to do his first qualifying run, is going to provide us with some goods.
He has been absolutely mega in practice. He always is ready to throw down in his BMWs. A little bit shallow, comes off the wall, gets into the outside zone, number 1, touches number 2, and goes deep. Can he hold onto the black stuff? Yes, he does. Concrete chunk all over the bumper.
Stan, shallow there. He kind of like, you know, bum drag. Look, these drivers, first qualifying run, get some points down, boys. Don't cook your car on the first run.
Yep.
And then on the second one, well,
Go a bit harder.
You go a bit harder, yeah.
Well, maybe they're being a bit gamey and they want to land in the midway point of the qualifying order and maybe get someone at that level, right? So there's a little bit of gamesmanship that might be happening. You know, you don't necessarily want to qualify right at the bottom because you'll be up against a top qualifier.
Yeah.
But some of them, you hear a bit of strategy play.
You know what? I've even seen some top qualifiers struggle when battling someone who's slower or provides a lower score. So sitting that mid-pack really does help out. But we got Cody Moxton, second event in this car. Fresh build, nice flick up onto the wall, a little bit understeer, eats the ripple strip.
Whoa!
Continues drifting over to outside zone 3, over to 4, sinks it deep, over 5. Man, that was scary.
Road speed.
That ripple strip is a sump destroyer.
It's a wheel, it's a sump, it's a subframe destroyer.
Transmission, I've seen a transmission break.
Absolutely. And this is why the layout has been designed this way. We'll check it out on the Pertec phase. What a replay for you guys watching at home. Bang, there he is. Big rooster tail of dirt. The point of this lap is precision driving. You want to be in that first zone, trust that you can pull the car up to get that touch and go, and then go down the hill. But it is supposed to be a touch and go. You're not supposed to just ram right through it and go over the dirt.
We want the drivers to flow into it. They don't have to complete it the entire way around. They just have to be in the box.
Just get to the box at some point.
Yeah.
Not necessarily overshoot it, because that's a couple of wheels off the track.
Correct. He will feel a little bit of the pain there in his score as he did drop some tyres. So we'll see what Cody scores there. But it's interesting. I mean, these guys are just throwing it down. They're just having some fun. So Cody did score a 52, so he was heavily penalised. He had the massive understeer at the start, and then he went, which it brought him wide. So it was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, 52. Currently sitting sort of mid-pack at the moment. Jaden Snell's similar, 55. Stan K, 54. So all those guys are sort of floating mid-pack, but they've got a second chance. They've got a second opportunity. But for their first opportunity, Mr. Mike Lake getting his first lap done in the Autobahn Max E36 BMW. Touch of foot brake. I don't think it's going to penalise him too bad, but does bump the wheel up the ripple strip. And it looks like he's come out of the drift in that last corner. I think he was just coming in hot.
He was. Mike has been Mike's driving has been insane. I mean, that car last round copped a beating. And I watched his YouTube recap. You can check him out on Mike Lake on YouTube, Two-Step Garage. I've seen the recap from last round, and the damage was pretty bad. But surprisingly, he's got the initiation, like the sand sorted. Something happened there on the last part of the circuit. Maybe a mechanical issue or a shutdown or something.
Yeah, a little bit hard to see, but the attitude of the car, like, I guess when he missed that last zone, he just sort of drove out of the zone. So he's like, yeah, I'll just drive out of it. But yeah, the setup was okay. You saw a big dot of foot brake, and maybe he was just sort of out of his flow, out of his momentum. But it looks pretty reasonable in practice, so I'm sure he'll be back to put another lap in the books.
100%, 100%. Up next, we're going to have Sam Mudge. Now, Mudgey has been driving for a very long time. He drove round one, drove the legs off of this car. Let's see how he sends it again. Come on, Mudgey. RB20 powered S13, bonneted off, smoking hot, big flick up and outside zone 1. Nice delivery on the power, coming over to 2. Transition snaps over to 3, fills the zone, fills the touch and go, sorry, over to zone 2. Very down, powers over the line with some style. Mudgey.
Not bad.
Not bad. Solid first run.
I think just having a quick look at it, when he was leaving the wall, it didn't look like he stayed on his angle position. It looked like he just wound a little bit of steering angle off. Check out the Pertec Bayswater replay for everyone watching at home. Misses the touch and go after coming off the wall. So I reckon he was just into it. He was going hard at the wall, came off the wall a little bit early, straightened the steering wheel a little bit too early, and he did miss that first touch and go. Once he flicked back and went down the hill, it looked all pretty groovy. But when 60% of the lap waiting is in these first couple of zones, you really got to get these two right.
100%. You need to get it right, and if you don't, you will be penalised. But someone who knows how to hit the circuit right is Jamie Sikorsky. He's been driving the legs off this car. This is a sick build. Relatively fresh, big power.
It's probably done 3 events. It's a Barra in an AU. But the thing is tidy. Like, this is now a real contender of a pro level. Is equally as good as anything Japanese. It is absolutely phenomenal. There he goes, entry up along the wall, big wall ride. Can he get the touch and go? Yes, he does. Flick back to the second touch and go, got it covered, and then deep down to that last zone. Goes Jamie Stepkowski.
And Stepkowski, that car, it drives like a Silvia. It snaps, it has an angle. Let's check out the Pertec Bayswater replay. So Jamie compression flicked the car in and maybe a little bit too early, then comes on the power, fills outside zone 2, great, over to 3, snap transitions, and comes down the bank. Big elevation change, and elevation change once again as he comes over the line. So the tricky part of this circuit is that you carry all of this speed in turn 1, and as you snap transition over to outside zone 2 and 3, the track goes down. So a lot of these cars start gaining speed even more after the circuit, so you have to really slow the car up a little bit when you come onto outside zone 3 and you get down the bank, because you're going into what's basically an old NASCAR circuit.
Yeah, and it's a wild ride. I mean, I've been lucky enough to be able to drive this layout in the past, and you can't see that bottom zone. Like, you're coming through this crossover, and the flick back in the opposite direction, you're like, I know it's there, but I can't see it.
Yeah.
And you've just got to trust that you can float the car down to fill the zone and then be on the gas again to come back up the hill.
It is quite frightening, especially with the elevation change there. It's almost like a mini North course, you know what I mean? Like you're flicking into a blind corner, unsure, and just praying there's no one spun out there, or you've set the car up correctly to be placed on that outer zone. So it is pretty scary, but it's...
And he's qualified 79, so Jamie in the red AU is currently sitting in the second position. and Sam Mudge, 75.3, currently sitting in third.
Cool.
So it's a bunch of red cars up to the pointy end.
You got David Stankowski. Hopefully he can bring the cream up to the top of the podium for qualifying. Great job on outside zone 2 to 3 transition. But he did eat a little bit of the ripple strip coming over to outside zone 2. So,
Yes.
but you know what? Solid. First run, min.
Absolutely. From Queensland, competing in the KIR Drift Championship this year. Every single time David hits a track, it's a new layout for him. So, you know, there's going to be a number of drivers from Victoria that are going to have a bit of an upper hand advantage, right?
Yeah.
They've driven here before, they're used to the walls, they're used to the layout, but every time David hits a track, he's got to learn the layout, and that's mega. Like, to put down that lap, absolutely awesome.
100%. And another fourth, we have Patrick Meehan on the line. Pat Meehan's car is it's another these fours, man, they just produce lots of bulk power. It's a matter about getting the suspension and the steering right.
Yeah. Overall, you know, a long wheelbase, quite a heavy car, so you've got to pull as much weight out of the car as you can and get the car to rotate on the front end. Getting it to be able to change direction is the more of the challenging part of some of these bigger chassis. But let's see how we go. Patrick Meehan getting into it, tough lift back. AU Falcon, there's the flip. Back tyres into the box. That's a big indication. Into turn 1, down the hill, touch into zone 2, 3, and then 4. At the bottom of the hill, blazing through the concrete jungle. Not too bad, not too bad.
I mean, that was a bit of a send. Like, that was a good send. He did have a little bit of a halt and a stutter as he transitioned from 1 to 2. As we'll check here in the Pertec Bayswater replay, he does compress the car up, switches over, does a good job, fills the zone, but not completely. Has a little wobble there, misses outside zone 2 from the wobble. But you know what? If he was just slightly deeper on the wall, he would have made that perfect.
Absolutely bang on. Get that turn 1 right, and that's your timing. The car will float into that first touch and go, and then the flick back down the hill. That's the one little thing that if Pat needs to work on, is just to be a little bit closer on the wall, do exactly what you were doing, and the lap will be absolutely mega.
Yeah, 100%. But speaking of a mega lap, we've got Cale Scott, Mr. Good from far, but a little worse for wear, far from good when you're looking at it. That car's a battle car.
Look, it is an absolute battle car. If you guys can see that on the live stream, it's basically held together with race tape and zip ties, and he's gone full send over that ripple strip earlier today in practice. But let's see what Cale's got, representing Scott's Tyres from South Australia. Here he comes at a rapid rate of knots down the front straight. That is what we want to see, ladies and gentlemen. Is he going to hit the zone? Flick over the rise, touch and go, number 3, and in the 4. Does he get all the way forward? Wow, that was fast. Woo! That was fast.
That was probably the quickest entry we've seen so far, but that entry speed, the judge is clapping. So that's what they want. That's what they want to see. Big weight transfer, big flick up onto the wall. Madden tries to deliver the power, just misses outside zone 2 slightly, transitions over to 3 nicely, then comes deep on 4, touches it a little bit on the late end at 4, but that was predominantly because his number 2 wasn't set up as well. But hey, look, Scott's Tyres, mate. When I see that car out there, when I see Cale driving, it's just insane.
Absolutely.
Check, check.
All right, as we line up the next lot of drivers, our current standings on the live stream for qualifying, Nathan Atkinson still holding the top position at the moment, 87.5. David Stankowski from Queensland in the AU house, machine. He's 82.7 and Cale Scott is 80.7. So those three guys currently sitting in the first three positions, while Mission to San, Timmy Rogers gets his first lap in. Big foot brake, flick down and over the hill. Can he fill that last zone? Yes, he can. But I reckon he came off the wall just a little too early. Had to dob a bit of foot brake to steady over the crossover.
Yeah, really interesting to see Timmy Rogers here. Let's have a look at the Pertec Bayswater replay. He did have all that speed commitment up on the wall, but then unfortunately had a massive front wheel lockup on the left foot brake, which is not what the judges want to see. The judges just don't want to see that left foot brake happen, but he needed to do that to try and get out to outside zone 2, which unfortunately didn't anyway. Then over to 4, did a great job there.
Yeah, Timmy getting absolutely into it. And look, he's already been in the wars today.
Yeah, like 3 times.
Yeah, like he smacked the wall with the tail lights and destroyed the back end of his car. And then he was one of the drivers that nearly went well deep into the runoff area there and nearly hit the light post. He's not scared to go hard. You just got to kind of keep it tamed a little bit.
Yeah, he's got to find that sweet spot. And he's learnt the limits.
Oh yeah.
So now he's just trying to figure it out.
Just pull back a little bit from the absolute wild psycho man. Danny Pesic is another one of these guys. He's going out for his first qualifying lap right now. Again, rapid into turn 1. On the loud pedal, on throttle, all the way through touch and go. 2 and 3 down the hill. Filling that last zone and carrying on out of the concrete jungle.
Interesting. So during practice, Danny was left foot braking a lot. And he was a little bit unsettled. You saw he had the little spaghetti arms going on in the driver's seat. You can see with those shirts tucked in gloves, you can see the little fluoro hands going everywhere. But this was solid. Outside zone 1 into 2, great snap angle, lots of commitment into outside zone 3, deep into 4, and then touches the box, comes over the line. Like, that was honestly a solid run. That's solid points.
Very, very solid. And look, it's still only lap number 1 for him. So he'll have another opportunity to go for another lap, see how he goes. Timmy Rogers just updating the qualifying order. So Nathan Atkinson P1, David Stankowski P2, Cale Scott P3, Jamie Stepkovsky in the AU, the red AU's in 4th, and Timmy Rogers currently in 5th place. So this is live. It is it's a moving target right now, but Nathan Atkinson has been holding on to that top place for a majority of qualifying so far.
He has, and I have seen Cam Martin's car coming into the pre-grid, and then also a few other of the big boys. We've got Barley, and yeah, look, it's gonna be interesting to see if Nathan can hold on to it. And look, there's Nathan there, prepping, getting ready for his second run very shortly.
Awesome stuff. Now, arriving on the line, Cam LZ Martin, the winner of the LZ World Tour last year. He took down all the internationals, he took down all of the locals, and he took the top step of the LZ World Tour. He is a pretty dominant force here at Calder Park. He's driven that many laps. I've had the pleasure to be in the passenger seat of his car this layout.
Oh, lucky.
And then he sent us into the barriers down the bottom of the hill. We sideswiped the barriers, and I was fearing for my life, but he is not scared to go into 4th gear down this front straight. And here he goes, Mr. Cam Martin for entry number 1. Nice and wide, nice and steady. Bit of a foot brake getting it done, but he is gone for too much angle, ladies and gentlemen.
Cam, unfortunately, throwing too much sauce into it. His initiation and the speed was perfect. Then he dialed the left foot brake on a little bit, and then it just wound the car over just so slightly. That's a bit unfortunate. Now Cam's going to have to put down, you know, a solid run for his second run, but enough to the point where it's not a full send, because he doesn't want to go past that limit.
Is that commentator's curse?
Yeah.
Did I just give him the commentator's curse?
I think you did.
Him up too much. and then he goes and pushes just a little bit too hard. But look, the commitment into that first zone was amazing. He got all the way into the first outside touch and go in the crossover section, but he was just on too much steering angle and he just had nowhere to go. Over-rotated and sent it sideways.
It looks
Too
like
much.
someone needs a Costal or Wisefab put in that car.
Hey, a bit of Wisefab front maybe? I don't know what front end's in that car, but it's worked for him for a lot of years. We'll
I
see
think it
what
was just
happens.
the old JDI cut and shots, mate, from the old ones.
Mr. Marcus Backy McCarthy, another fan favourite of the Melbourne drift scene. Here he goes, entry into turn one, mega sideways, and too far sideways.
2-2 click, Mr. McCarthy. Unfortunately, Marcus is one just to send it. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if he wins. He doesn't care if the car breaks. As long as he's had fun in the interim of him being in the driver's seat and he goes as fast as he can and tries to put on the best show for everyone, he doesn't care.
I think the entry into one was really, really good, but I think just the overall road speed, he's just like, he's got an extra click, you know, he goes, can I go 5 kilometers an hour faster? Didn't quite go deep enough into the wall, like we've seen him really run the wall on turn one or on that first outside zone, and it just seemed a little bit scrappy, but obviously that's it, he's out in the weeds.
Yeah, 100%. But we have Patrick Barley on the line. He has been consistent in his practice. This car, Carbon Kevlar Corvette. You don't see these in Australia often, but here we go. Patrick Barley charging up the drag strip, flicking up onto outside zone one on the wall. Nice and tidy, nice and close. Maintains an angle and proximity over to the outside zones 1, 2, over to 3, back down to 4. Keeps the line quite consistent as well throughout the whole circuit. Like, that's some solid points. Patrick Barley would be very happy with that.
Yeah, look, this is one of the more unique cars. For you guys that are joining from overseas, we see you on the live stream. Thank you. We'll jump in and have a chat with you soon. But the Pertec Bayswater replay for you guys watching at home is absolutely mega. He was basically dragging Carbon Kevlar down the wall at the first outside zone. Touch and go number one was probably could have gone a little bit deeper, but the flick down the hill looked great. But he was barely on throttle. The car's got so much more in it.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to drive on full throttle in that car and still hit all the zones because it's just got so much of everything.
I mean, that car is basically a Formula Drift car. It's got sprint car motor, all these whiz bangs and everything, and it's an amazing car. Looks solid to drive, but he was battling Roger Ianson in round one for the first place. So let's see if Roger, who's on the line currently, is able to pull it off, because Roger did a great job in round one. He qualified high, he took home first place. He did a great overall job. Now this layout is going to be a little bit different to what he's used to. He hasn't driven this one.
No, but the good part of what we have here is his spotter. His dad was up here asking all the questions to hopefully get this line absolutely dialed, and it is looking mega so far. First touch and go, 1 and 2 down the hill, fills that outside zone, and on the throttle coming up to the Hungry Jungle. I think the spotter questions and help to the judges here really paid off.
Yeah, 100%. Rog has been solid from the initiation, outside zone one. Let's check out the Pertec Bayswater replay. He flicked in and then kept it so consistent with angle and line. Flicked up, didn't have any real big adjustments, some minor adjustments, but it didn't unsettle the car. It was just like, all right, there's the steering, I see where it's at. Big snap transition down to 4, and then blazes over the line. Absolutely solid job. Rog is an insane driver, and he's a national driver, so he comes in from interstate and he drives the national series.
Correct.
But it's interesting to see him drive a layout he's never really driven before.
Yeah, he's been to Calder Park a number of times, but just never on this layout. All right, the top qualifying order has changed, ladies and gentlemen. Danny Pesek currently sits in top position, 87.7. Nathan Atkinson, 87.5. And the top positions changed again. Roger Ianson, 87.8. It is so close between all these guys at the top of the qualifying order. 87.8 for Roger Ianson, who just completed his lap. It looked mega, it looked under control. We've just got a little bit more in it. I reckon he's got a little bit more angle in him. I reckon he's got a little bit more speed in him.
100%. 87.8.
Yes. 0.1 difference between him and Danny Pesic, and then only 0.2, 0.3 difference to Nathan Atkinson. Absolutely awesome.
Alrighty, on the line, we're going to have Nick Mazzei in the BT Tyres S13, all the way from New South Wales. Came down for round 1, driving round 2. Great job up on the wall there. A little bit understeer. Watch out. There we go. He's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an intimidating course. You've done like 4 laps of it, and then we're trying to put you into a mega qualifying session. It gets really, really hard. And check out the Pertec Bayswater replay for you guys watching at home. The entry wasn't too bad. He's obviously gone for it. Didn't go wide enough at the wall, which then made the line really shallow.
Yeah.
And he's gone and tried to correct it with more steering, which just understeered him right into the ripple strip.
Yeah, it didn't work out there, unfortunately, for him. Look, it is a very, very tricky circuit, as you said. He hasn't had many laps at all.
No.
So
literally a handful of laps this morning. And I know his mate was driving the car for round 1 and they were having handbrake issues and a few other things. But let's see how we go. Luke Foley in the R32, first time competing at Keep It Reef for the year. Missed round 1, into round 2. Awesome sounding R32 Skyline, big RB built engine. Does he get deep enough down into that last zone? Not quite. Luke Foley in a really cool looking R32.
I've seen Luke sesh the Friday night Keep It Reef, sesh like nights that we have, and he's on it all night, the whole time, on the wall.
Yep.
Loves it. So it's good to see him competing. As you see there, bang, on the wall. Loves it. That's where he lives. His home is the wall. And then he flicks over to outside zone 2. The snap transition from 2 to 3 was great. Down the bank. Did miss that outer zone on 4 a little bit, but look, realistically, that's a solid first run.
Absolutely.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, 1 in the bank already. Absolutely awesome stuff. Great to see him out. He did miss round 1, but certainly great to see him out for round 2 of the Autobahn Keep It Reef Drift Championship for 2024. Thanks to Autobahn for jumping on board as the naming rights sponsor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Autobahn. I always go to Autobahn. Autobahn's grouse. It's good. It's got everything you need. Stocks all the performance parts. It's phenomenal. Go there, check it out if you haven't.
All right, it looks like we've gone through everyone. Everyone's had their first qualifying run, because that is Gav Considine. He was our first driver out in qualifying, getting his first lap done. His first lap, 47.3. I feel like, was it the back half of the lap? I think he came out of the zone, missed the clipping point. There was a few little things. Certainly a little bit more commitment coming into the first corner is going to get him higher points. So he's no doubt he's had a bit of a look at the live stream. We know the drivers do that. They go and re-watch their runs and sort of get in there and try and analyse as best they can. And he wants to try and improve on a 47.3.
I have to apologise for the commentator's curse for when the drivers go back and go, God damn it, Tony, Stella, what are you doing?
Thanks.
Why are you cursing me?
All right, and while we're on it, you guys on the live stream, thank you guys for joining in. I can see Mike Lakes on the live stream. Broke axle on the first run, but it's all fixed and ready for the second. So Mike Lake broke an axle. That's why he had the issue. We can see Age there. Yeah, boy. What's up, brother? Robert Manning. Let's go, Mike. Dory Drift. Come on, boys. Grab another gear. He's G'ing you on. So Dory Drift on the chat is certainly G'ing up everyone. Gav Considine going for his second qualifying run. Here we go, ladies and gents. Into that outside zone, looking pretty good. A little bit too shallow coming through for that touch and go. Second touch and go looking okay, and falls really short. Turns it round like a washing machine, doesn't make the last corner.
Yeah, Gav did a great job considering the power of that car. It's probably like a whole 65 kilowatts or something like that in the heat. Naturally aspirated. He charged down the drag strip, went up on the wall, gave it as much of a weight transfer as he could, feel comfortable to do so. Bum dragged it in, then came on the throttle. Realised he was going to go a little bit too deep and then hit the ripple strip, trimmed up the line and the angle, but then unfortunately that did unsettle him as he came down the bank from 3 to 4. That elevation change is killer.
Yeah, it really, if you're offline and you haven't got your momentum or your flow right, it really does unsettle the car. Now that is a built BMW engine, so it's a factory, it's not the factory engine from an E30, but it's a BMW engine that's built, but it's still NA. So I think maybe that's destined for a turbo in the future, maybe?
So.
I think he needs it.
Needs to go see Mike Lake and learn about BMW turbo stuff. Anyway, Jaden Snell on the line, charging down the strip, big flick in, twin turbo V8, off its bloody chop. Outside zone 1, great job, transitions to 2, snap over to 3. Great job down the elevation change, down into the Thunderdome, over to 4, cruises up the bank, back into the national circuit, blazes past the line. Jaden Snell did a great job for his second run.
So
bloody
first,
cracker.
Yeah, first qualifying run was a 55.3. Certainly looked a lot more under control this time around. Maybe just a little bit off the wall there, but that's not too bad. Touch and go 1, nailed it. Touch and go 2, nailed it. Did very well down the hill. Really steady, could have gone a little bit deeper, but a much stronger second qualifying run from Jaden Snell in the twin turbo LS powered 180SX.
Yeah, definitely a sick job there. And that car is just amazing. Seeing the twin turbos out of the bonnet, it looks like a Formula Drift car. It looks like Forsberg's car with twins out the bonnet, and the level of car builds are just always getting more and more and more, faster and faster, grippier, better. But
That's
they
the
all
level.
That's a level,
Yeah.
but they all still have the same amount of battle scars, which is hilarious. I feel like it's all shiny in the engine bay. It looks amazing, but then the body panels are just all dinged in tire rubs. It's great.
Trying to refresh the car between rounds just to get it looking pretty. I respect that. Good on them.
I do. Here we go. We got Nick Mazet. He had an issue in his first run. He did get a 0. Let's see how he goes here. See if he can complete the circuit. Does understeer again, coming into outside zone 2. Has a little bit of a straighten, comes over to 3. Still maintains drift, but entirely offline there, unfortunately. Nick did unfortunately... Look, that's a thing.
Yeah.
There's also gear ratios as well. So I feel like he's in 3rd gear, but the car just doesn't have enough legs to push out.
Yeah.
It's like a 4th gear initiation.
It is a really fast, high-speed initiation, and it just to keep it steady. I mean, you know, he's a long way off the zone. You know, if you don't get close enough to the wall, the rest of the flow is so hard to recover.
Yeah.
So it's being brave enough to throw your car at the wall. And look, not many people have really got the drive in them to do that. I mean, look, I'm even still nervous getting my car, throwing it at the wall. It's so intimidating. Your car's an absolute write-off if you get it wrong.
100%. Okay, here we go. Luke Foley, second run, charges up the strip, big flick. Luke down deep on the wall. Outside zone 1, keeps and maintains that line and that angle onto outside zone 2. Snap transition to 3. Goes deep on 4, winds angle in towards the end of 4 to come over the finish line. Man, Luke's been solid, dude. Absolutely solid. His first run was a 62.3.
Yeah, a little bit. It was a little bit cautious. I think he was doing the old banker lap for lap number 1, but certainly check that out. Pertek Bayswater replay, dragging the rear exhaust pipe down the wall on that outside zone. That is exactly what the judges want to see, and that just allows for a nice flowy second half of the lap. Just absolutely awesome stuff. Great work. Luke Foley will certainly get a higher score for his second run. All right, you guys on the chat, you're having a great time there. Thank you guys for joining us. Rob Manning, that 180 is so tough. Yeah, it is, brother. All right, Smisky RB Power. Twisted Dead Body Man. Yeah, that was a bit nervous. All right, Thank you guys for joining us on the live stream. We really appreciate you guys. We've got people joining us from the other side of the world. They're asking what time it is here in Australia. It's just gone past 12:15 at lunchtime. Not bad considering I'm watching from the other side of the world. Good on you. Kill me, kill me. That's a weird name. What's your deal, brother?
Alrighty.
All right. Rolling around to the start line again is Warwick Fitzgerald. Wasman, whatever the drama was with his car.
I don't know.
Yeah, it seemed like it lost power or something on his first lap.
RB things.
It's RB things.
It's RB things.
RX-7 things.
It's like being in an RX-7, you know, it's a little odd. All right, Warwick, here we go. Charging down the strip. RB powered FD RX-7. Did a great job. Trying to keep it off the wall because he did hit it in practice. Outside zone 1 and 2 was a little bit shallow, but then goes deep on 3. Transitions down to 4. Comes over the line. Warwick ripped his rear Rio bar off of his car, but the bumper was still on the vehicle. It was really odd to see. I've never seen an aluminium Rio bar falling off the track, but it did happen. Hence why he was a little bit shallow there, because he found the limit. He's like, I don't want to go there again because this car is worth a mint.
Absolutely, and so many hours of fabrication to get the RB in there to work and to sit at that ride height and still drive really well. So yeah, a little bit away from the wall on initiation. That's not too bad. It did sort of slow him down for getting into that first touch and go. But overall, not too bad, and certainly a better second lap for Warwick Fitzgerald.
100%. Warwick's currently sitting 15th mid-pack with that score of 62.7. So that's a good place to be.
Yeah, not too bad. That's a nice battle position to be in. He'll have other people that have done a similar lap, but he's going to have to earn it. That's the thing. When you're in that part of the battle order, you've really got to earn it.
Alrighty, here we go. We got the young gun, Nathan Atkinson, for his second qualifying run. Nathan, charge it down the straight. Outside zone 1, nice and deep, lots of speed. Completes outside zone 2 with ease. Transitions down to 3. Let's see if he can maintain through 4, keeping the tyres on the track, not on the dirt. That he does. Nathan's like one of the fastest initiations and drivers today so far, without a doubt.
Absolutely. What an incredible run. The car sounds absolutely fantastic. Here it is on the Verdict Basement replay. Maybe just the smallest little kiss on the wall, but it didn't upset the front end at all. We could only just see. I didn't even notice on the first time he went past us if he touched the wall, but we could just see it on the drone footage on the replay. Nathan just touching the wall, but does not unsettle the car at all. And he just holds it flat through that zone, gets the outside zone, through the crossover, touch, and then down the hill. What a mega second run. His first run was 87.5. We haven't seen what his second run is yet. Oh, it's just populated. Nathan Atkinson, a score of 90, our first into the 90s. He has reclaimed position number 1 in qualifying so far.
He's like, Roger, Danny, I'm sorry, boys.
I'm taking it.
Taking it, mate. Well done. That's it. That's a perfect example of a consistent driver and just pushes that little bit harder on the second run and just takes the top spot.
Incredible stuff.
Here we go. Brett Jones, the only 350Z. Let's see how he goes now. Outside zone 1. Doesn't really grab the handbrake. Little bit of a struggle there on outside zone 2 and 3. Misses all the zones, unfortunately. Then comes deep on 4. Does claim 4 slightly, but look, 60-40. Majority of the points are in the initiation and the first point. Did look like he had a little bit of a understeer. Let's check the Pertec Bayswater replay. As he loaded the car up, it did look like that. It wasn't an aggressive flick into the walls as we want. That'll kind of set you up.
Yeah, like I think it's just, being a little bit cautious. It's the first time driving this layout. One of our guests over from South Australia. So we really do appreciate people traveling from all over the country to come down for the KIR Drift Championship. So yeah, a little bit cautious coming in at the wall, making sure that he just doesn't put the rear bumper into the wall. And then obviously the overall flow of the lap is a little bit challenging when you're just not 100% committed to the zones.
100%. And look, he's got Calder Park it's a playground. There's 7 tracks in the whole complex. It is phenomenal layout to drive, and all the different layouts we do. We have lots of high speed, we have concrete jungles, we've got blind crest flicks on the over the hill layout on the opposite side where we are. There's so many drivers come from interstate, and there should be more. I'm looking at the list here. There's maybe like 5 or 6 that are from interstate. It's all Vic guys. Come on, guys.
Yeah, get amongst
Get your car, load it up, spend a weekend. You know, make a bit of a family holiday out of it.
Absolutely love it. Taylor Cisco's going for his second lap. Falcon flying down the front straight. Gets into that outside zone. Does he make the second one? No, not quite. Does grab the touch and go. Gets into the fill zone at the end. And over the finish line through the concrete jungle. Not too bad. I think the first part of the lap was pretty good. We'll check it out on the Pertec Bayswater replay. But did come off the wall a little early and missed the first touch and go zone.
Yeah, unfortunately he did miss that. But look, Cisco's has been a sick driver.
Yeah.
He's always session on the Friday night drifts.
Yep.
He's just here for a party, man. Here for a bit of fun. Drive with the boys. It's always a good time.
For sure. Always good to watch. But yeah, I just think, just that not quite enough angle at the wall. A little bit more angle, a little bit more speed would have allowed the car to float deeper into that touch and go. That is really the key.
Look, honestly, there's only really one car that steered that well, which is Jamie Sevkowski's, Ford. So
Mega.
I think all these Ford drivers need to take a note out of Jamie's book and say, mate, tell me your secrets. What the hell did you do to your car to make it drive and steer like that? Because it is so settled and it's consistent. Well, we've got Ross Murdoch on the line in the naturally aspirated BA Falcon. You can hear it singing as it's driving up onto outside zone 1. Keeps the throttle pin, 3rd gear, never ever lift. Transitions down to outside zone 3, goes nice and deep on the elevation, then comes back up over the line with a bit of power. And that thing there is just like, he takes off in 3rd gear and just leaves it in there. It's basically an automatic. You never have to touch the clutch except for kicking it.
It is one of the most linear sounds at the track today. It's just flat. Nothing else. I'm giving it absolutely everything and just holding it flat. It's such a cool sound. It's just like he's just giving it absolutely everything. I love that driving commitment.
100%.
Just a little bit of the outside touch there, but where did he qualify on his first lap? Look, his first lap was
58.
Well, the lowest. Hang on, it's moving around on us.
Yeah, it's moving on us. What's going on?
All right. So, his best score was 75.3. His lowest was 58.7. So what we're doing for this judging for the qualifying is we just take the best of the 2 runs. It's not a combination of the 2. It's just whichever run was better, that's how they're being judged. So he's currently sitting in 9th place in that Falcon. 75.3 is to hold it flat.
Phenomenal job. All right, on the line, someone who doesn't need to hold it flat, Team 2J, Jason Hayden. 2JZ, rear-mounted radiator. This thing's got all the sauce. Let's see how he goes on his second qualifying run. Jason sets the car up for outside zone 1, not as deep as we want to see, but then goes over to 2, touches, second touch and go, transitions down to the third outer zone, which is touch and go, over to 4, pulls the car over the line. Solid run.
Yeah, not too bad. I think probably a little bit better than his first run, but still just a little bit. I think he maybe just got a little bit of tire into the first touch and go. Nah, just misses the wall. This one, just kind of gets a tire onto it. Hits the third one. What about 4? Yeah, he just misses it by about half a metre. So
look, it's still a very chaseable lead run. So that's what we're looking at here as well. The drivers are showcasing, saying, hey, when someone's chasing me, I'm going to provide the best possible lead run for them. And the qualifying basically goes, okay, number 1, who has the best lead lap to chase? And the bottom of it, who kind of like made a few mistakes. And that's kind of where the placements are. So
yeah, that's it.
Phenomenal job though.
Everyone today will be battling provided they were able to make it out for qualifying. And that's the whole point. We've got a couple of entrants who were down in the pits. We've got one that's chasing up a fuel cell, but it looks like he might not get a chance to come out on track. That is Ben Brentnell, the second half of Murray River Motorsport. He had some kind of issue in practice, and they're trying to chase down a fuel cell so he can try and get out in this qualifying session and get at least one lap. All he needs is one lap. Nearly everyone else has done a lap. Yes, they have. Cam Martin, uncharacteristic spin from him. He's currently qualified last, dead last. He's got to really
Cam, what are you doing, mate?
pull something out of a hat.
Cam, you got an 11.3, mate. You need to pull it together, mate. Pull it together. Come on.
All right.
On the line, Mr. Luke Sanders, AU, Zoku AU, bloody AU Drift Society, loves it.
First lap was 67. I remember that being a pretty good lap.
Solid.
Let's see how we go. I mean, he's flat out down the straight. We can hear it from the truck. Grabs a little bit of handbrake in that outside zone, but really close to the wall. That was very impressive. Touch and go, 1, 2, yeah, gets it. Into number 3, gets it. Down to the bottom of the hill. Looks like a real fill zone in the bottom, and held it flat coming out the other side. That looked all pretty good.
Solid bloody run there by Luke. I mean, outside zone 1 was... Oh, we lost a piece of paper. Outside zone 1 was phenomenal. As you see him charge down the straight, flicks over to the wall.
Oh.
Nice and deep. Just tags it, actually. No real wobbles. Maintains outside zone 2 touch and go. 3 touch and go great. Then he holds the handbrake a little bit as he goes from 3 to 4. Now, that handbrake hold, he may lose a fair bit of points there. It's not the initial... It's not like the part of the track that's judged the most, but like holding the handbrake coming down the bank, yeah, it does deduct some points.
Yeah, and look, it was a pretty sort of reasonable handbrake in the first part as well, going up at the wall. But the judges have asked for no deceleration until you're set up at the wall. So the point is, if you're going to grab the handbrake at this first outside zone, you're going to really slow the car down, and it can really affect the overall flow. But if you do slow the car down at that wall, but you can keep flowing, then that's okay as well. So you might only get a little deduction, not a major deduction for slowing the car down at the wall.
You did make a 83.5, which put him in 4th place.
Mega.
So for a non-turbo car to score an 80.
Intech, Falcon, holding it flat.
Love it. Love it.
Awesome. All right.
And the man, he's back on the line. Stan K, his first run was a 54.7. Let's see if he can beat it this time in the E36 BMW. Stan's got a he's got a pretty crazy car. WPI Garage sponsored. And look, they've built a pretty decent car. That car's got power. It boogies. It's got all the sauce. Steering's good. Stan's been driving well, so it'd be interesting to see, because I definitely think he has more potential than a 54. So let's see how he goes here, Tony.
Here we go down the front straight. That is close to the wall, a little bit slow to go to angle. Does miss the first outside touch and go on the crossover. Reasonably deep into that last zone and out through the concrete jungle. Yeah, look, not too bad. It seemed like he was coming in pretty hot. He just didn't really get that big flick to angle that we've seen from Stan in the past. So coming down the front straight, Pertek Bayswater replay.
It looks like that he threw a little bit too much angle on the initiation in terms of the Scando. Now, where the judges have told drivers we want to see weight transfer, but we don't want to see a big clutch kick type of Scando. Unfortunately, even though Stan might have only been trying to weight transfer, it was just a little bit too much angle, because he looked like he was going to go into the wall, so that's probably why he shallowed up, saved the car, didn't wreck it, but then still managed to unfortunately miss 2, and then comes over to 3 and 4, which is fine, but yeah.
Just found out that we did have the wrong name on the graphic. I apologise for you guys playing at home. That was Matt Taylor. And I think the E46 BMW. It's missing lights and all sorts of stuff.
Was that Matt Taylor?
Stan's down there. He's rolling past us
there's
right now.
Stan.
So it was Matt Taylor. My apologies for you guys on the live stream and everyone here at the track. Stan K is rolling through our dummy grid area now. That was Matt Taylor in the BMW. Both black BMWs with no obvious graphics. When you look at it quickly, it's a bit hard to see.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe we should put some numbers on the cars or something like that so we can see them.
Yeah, some big numbers. Put a big sticker on your car.
Yeah.
Do something. All right. So we're rolling through this qualifying session. Thank you guys so much for joining us at the track and you guys on the live stream. Thank you for sticking with us. Reception can be a little bit of a challenge at Calder Park in the wind and the conditions. It is a challenging one out here today. But Theodore is absolutely thrashing his V8 Falcon on the course. Touch. Outside 2, outside 3, down the hill, and fills that outside zone number 4 and full throttle in the concrete jungle, exiting the track.
Yeah,
Not bad.
Theodore did a great job on his first run. Look, the first one he got 58, which is quite solid. He's sitting at a 20. Let's see if this score actually bumps him up a little bit. His charge up to the wall is always enthusiastic because he's got the little three-tail going on there. Then he does take out outside zone 1, great. Outside zone 2, phenomenal. Has a little bit of a wobble from 1 to 2, then comes from 2 to 3. Does a great job, deep on 4. And then just full send, full power, all the way over to the finish line. And a little bit of a celebratory skid at the end there. So he's having a fun time. That's what we're all about, if the vibes.
Awesome stuff. Currently, no sponsors on the side of Theodore's car.
No.
So if you're into the Falcon life and you want to whack a sticker on his car and pay for a tyre or something, you know, it could be a cheap sponsorship for your business.
Yeah.
Or if you want to support us at KIR Read, obviously we'll happily do any sort of promotion like we are right now. As you can see on screen, Autobahn being the naming rights sponsor of the event. SP Tools, our tool partner for KIR Read, and they are our top 4 naming rights sponsor. We'll see that in battles a little bit later on. Optima Batteries, our top 8 Optima Batteries. We'll talk about them a bit later on. But now we do have Stan K coming in for his second qualifying run. There it is. That's a big external gate, hitting limiter on entry, on throttle, flick back down the hill, looking pretty good, tagging 2, 3, and filling number 4, full throttle out of the dome back into the national circuit.
There you go, Stan. See, both cars sound the same. 2 black BMWs, E36s, both turbo. Stan did a great job. Let's check out the Pertec Bays, what a replay. So outside zone 1, filled it, goes over to 2, just misses it slightly, transitions to 3. As he goes down the bank, you can see him wind angle on as he approaches 4, which is going to deduct him some points, but he did have the correct line though, like he did a phenomenal job.
Stan K, certainly one of our BMW seasoned veterans, and he actually builds and supplies BMW packages for people. So if you're looking at getting involved with drifting and you want a little bit of a hand in setting up your car, you can actually buy an E36 with a cage, with a few things from Stan, and he'll prep the car, set it all up for you, and be ready to rock and roll. So that's a service that he's providing.
That is amazing. I think I might have to chat to him because
I need myself another car. No, I don't. I don't need any more.
All right, enough riff-raff. We've got Ben Loft on the line. T28, basically a stock S15 with coilovers and a lock kit.
Wreck 'em, son.
Wreck 'em, mate.
Here we go.
Let's go, Benny. Charging down the drag strip. You hear that little SR20 sing. Nice snap. Good clutch kick on initiation. Lots of angle. Does have a little bit of a wobble there on outside zone 1 to 2. Snap transitions down to 3. Nice and deep. Oh!
Too deep.
A little too deep. Looks like a little misshift or something happened there. He's straightened right up.
How's the commitment down the front straight? S15 at the wall.
Look, I think he's like one of the first people I've seen so far that have actually clutch kicked into the initiation or the snap. I love it. It's phenomenal.
You'll just send it right at the wall. Big clutch kick and just send it at the wall. I'm like, oh my god. But look, gets through the first half of the lap pretty reasonably, but going through the crossover, just got a little bit tangled up in his own arms. Missed that outside zone at number 4.
Here we go, Cody Moxon, second event, second qualifying lap. See how he goes here. Brand new K70 build. Cody, great job outside zone 1, maintains all that speed and angle, keeps the throttle commitment onto outside zone 2, snaps that little K70 down to 3, coasts all the way down to 4, keeps it on the bitumen. Great job over the finish line there.
Yeah, Cody had a V6, like he had a Commodore V6 A70 years ago, and then this car is kind of its second generation, so now this one's LS powered. So he's got certainly a few more ponies under the right foot and allows the car to absolutely hammer. So down the front straight was looking really good, setup was really good, maybe just a little bit outside on those couple of touch and goes, but overall pretty solid run. His last lap was a 52. I reckon he's done better than that.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely think he has done better. That was pretty solid all round. I mean, realistically, he had some minor errors, but it's not enough to deduct too many points.
One of our Ride with a Pro drivers, Nathan Dundervik. It looks like there's less body panels on that car. It's missing a bonnet, it's missing a front bar, it's missing the boot lid. Don't worry folks, it's still safe. If you want to go for a ride in that thing, head down to the Keep It Read tent in the pits and sign your life away, and Nathan will take you for a wild ride. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Lake out for his second lap. Autobahn backed E36 BMW, flicks on in, gets a lot better, a lot closer to the wall. Touch it 1, good, touch it 2 was good. Down that last corner and on the throttle over the finish line. No broken axles this time.
No, that was good.
Gets through nice and tidy.
I mean, absolutely phenomenal job. Mike's car's been pretty well set up in the last few rounds. Great job, good commitment on the wall, outside zone 1. Nice and deep on touch and go 1. Touch and go 2 did a great job. Outside zone 2 goes nice. Not as deep as what we probably like, but look, that's the 40 part of the round. The majority of the points are in the initiation, and that he did quite well.
I guess he came off the wall and it looked like just a bit of steering correction from, in the arc of this corner. The ideal line is being able to set your car up on angle, on power, and have no steering correction at all. So there was a small steering correction as he came off the wall and into the outside zone at number 2, or the first part of the crossover. So look, he might get knocked a little bit for that, but his first lap out obviously was pretty ordinary because he had a car failure, he broke the axle, but this time around 74.3 currently puts him in 13th position.
Here we go, Sam Mudge coming down the strip, big commitment, big flick in, builds outside zone 2 with these, goes to snap angle to 3, down the bank, into 4, finish strong Mudgey, that he does. Sam Mudge.
Sam Mudge, his first lap was a 75.3. I think this was better. That looks a lot deeper into the first outside zone, gets into the touch and go, gets into the second touch and go, and then in that final box down the bottom of the hill, does run the wheels in it. Look, could be a little bit deeper, but overall I think he's done a better job on his second lap versus his first one.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of these drivers, they have driven this layout a lot in the wet.
Yeah.
And when you're so conditioned to drive in the wet, the speed that they're going into the final box with is adequate to be perfect on that outer zone.
Yes.
Because it's dry and the track temperature's like, what, 50 degrees or something?
It's a hot one.
It's a hot one. So the tyres are super sticky. Sometimes they're actually overheated. So they're battling a mixture of coasting and too much grip, and it's a weird balance when it's super hot or even when it rains. It's very odd.
Yeah, it's a constantly moving target. You go out in practice, the temperature was, air temp was 25, it was getting up to 30 degrees. Now surely it's going to be getting closer to 35 degrees. It is quite a warm day out here at Calder Park. But yeah, the track temp changes as well so much, and as it rubbers on in, the guys are going to have to continually adjust what they're doing to make sure they get it absolutely spot on.
Yeah, 100%. One person who just keeps sending the ride with the pro is Nathan Dundervik. He's just, he's insane. Like,
Love it.
The speed that little K70 is going into turn 1 with is absolutely mental. He's doing a phenomenal job. If you guys are interested that are here at Calder Park, go see the girls at the 10. go buy a Row with a Pro seat. Even if you don't want to do it today, pre-book for round 3. It is definitely, you can go online, you can buy a ticket for Ride with a Pro. For you guys that are at home that live in Melbourne, you can go buy a ticket, and the next round that's on, you can jump in the car. You'll have your seat reserved, ready to rock and roll.
All right, here we go, folks. Thanks for joining us on the live stream. We appreciate all your comments on there. All righty. Jamie Stepkovsky, AU Falcon, mega high-speed entry, and he has hit the wall.
Well, bloody done.
Look, I'm going to say it, it was only a matter of time, and people are pushing harder and harder as the day's going on. And when I was looking down at the computer screen, my eyes went up down the track, and I thought, wow, he's moving, he is going fast. And look, if he'd just not touched it, it would have been near perfect. But it was just enough to unsettle the back of the car, and he's done an incredible job to keep the front end out of the wall. And just a couple of paint grazes. That could have been a seriously mega crash.
Yeah, as you can see, like once the drivers get a little bit too comfortable or touch the wall,
Wow.
that's it. Like you bounce off of it, but you got to remember you're bouncing off a wall at 120, 130 kilometers an hour. Like it is not a small impact. It does unsettle the car and it will spin you out.
Man, that was nervous times.
Yeah.
It was fast in a really clean, epic car. Man.
I think he might need to run down to Kmart and buy some new undies or something.
Yeah.
I would 100% for sure.
Spoiled myself.
All right, David Stankovsky, here we go, down the line. Big flick, up on the outside zone. Wow, great job there. Lots of left foot brake there, trying to get out to outside zone 2. Keeps the car consistent, floats over to 3, down onto 4. Unfortunately does put a tyre in the dirt and it does straighten the vehicle. But look,
Entry was mega. He was coming quick down that front straight.
remember, he's from Queensland. Like he doesn't drive these types of tracks or that, to the speed of this, that we have here at Calder Park. Let alone the undulating surface, how it's a little bit unsettled. There's patchy concrete here and there. Nothing's really perfect. It's phenomenal.
On the Pertec Bayswater replay, the glide down the zone, the car just floated perfectly through zone 1. Hit zone 2, like the touch and go, absolutely awesome. And then the flick down the hill, like everything was really, really cool right up until just that last little bit. But what an absolutely awesome run for a guy that's done like 5 laps here.
Yeah, phenomenal job by David. He did a great job all the way from Queensland, from AU House, sponsored by Rajab Racing, Keys Fabrication, Static Films, and the band. Up next though, we're going to have Patrick Meehan, Vic local, sponsored by Tough Hoists, flying down the drag strip. Whoa! Patrick's done a phenomenal job there on the wall, then sets himself up on the correct line for outside zone 2, snap back to 3, down the bank, nice and deep. Man, that's put it on. It's a sick run.
I don't know about you, but it's this point of the day, right? Everyone's done a qualifying lap.
Yeah.
Watching the live stream in the pits, and I'm sure they're keeping themselves up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just go that much harder. Patrick, man, that was mega.
Yeah, he turned the dial up to bloody 11 just there. He full sent on the wall was perfect, literally perfect in that box. And then outside zone 2, he was set up really well. Phenomenal.
His first run was a 70.7. It was already a pretty good score.
Yeah.
But I think he's done better. I think he's actually outscored himself on that second run. So that'll be cool to see where he lands in there. All right, so just a quick recap for everyone here and you guys on the live stream. Nathan Atkinson still has position number 1 with a score of 90. Roger Ianson, who I'm seeing rolling past me right now, is currently sitting in position 2 with an 87.8. And Danny Pesek is sitting there with 87.7. So there's 0.1 of a point, 0.1 between second and third, and a couple of points between first and second. So Nathan's hanging on to it, but Roger's rolling out. That looks like Ben Brentnell. He might have got a fuel cell.
That's it. Here we go. We got Timmy Rogers.
Whoa!
Hold it, hold it, hold it! Timmy, amazing initiation. Lots of angle fills all the zones. That is an SR20 powered R32 Skyline.
We have judges' round of applause up on the tow truck here. Look at this entry into turn 1. That is a big speed, high angle, filled the entire zone, got out of the zone at the perfect time, and touch and go 2, touch and go 3, fills the bottom zone as well. His car's full of smoke as well. And look, he gave us a nice big rev as he went past the tower, past the crowd. I reckon he knows he's done pretty well.
Yeah, I reckon he does. He's done pretty well. That was a phenomenal run. Now, Tim has always been one to just send it a little hard in practice and everything else, but man, phenomenal job there on his second qualifying run. Up next, we're going to have Cale Scott, all the way from SA. Bloody Mr. Scott's Tyres, Dory Drift. All right, Cale, you're on a bit of a mission, mate. Let's send it.
So we saw what happened last time. He came down at absolute warp speed.
Yeah.
And he's got a few fans on the live stream here. Come on, Cale. Can't Cale. Team Destroy Media giving you guys a bit of a shout out there. Twisted Dead Body Man, all you guys on the live stream, thanks for joining us. Cale Scott away from the start line, qualifying lap number 2, and he is fast, ladies and gentlemen. Fills that first zone, gets to the touch and go. Oh! There's something wrong with the car, it's run out of power.
Oh,
It's broken down the power. Something's happened. Wow, so much speed down the drag strip. He was going for an 8-second pass, I reckon.
Mate, I think I got a feeling he was top of third gear, flicked in, phenomenal job on the wall, went to grab second, pulled fourth, lost power, back to second because you heard him re-rev the car. So unless he was fourth into third but accidentally went.
It's got to be a gear shift time. If it was a fourth coming down the straight, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
That was so fast. And it was just so mega. I'm just watching it with my eyes going so clearly, so much faster than a lot of the other drivers. And unfortunately, either a misshift or a misgear or something has caused him a bit of a mischief. Didn't get to complete the lap. That was absolutely mega. Exciting to watch. I love that.
Very, very, very. Speaking of exciting, Nathan Atkinson, mate, unfortunately you have been taken down. Number 1 qualifier as it sits is Timmy Rogers in the SR-powered R32 with a 91.8.
Mission to send is got a mission for the top step today, I reckon. He's
100%.
going flat out.
Danny Pesek, second qualifying run. Bills 2, switches over to 3. Let's see if we can keep it together on 4. Down the bank. Does miss unfortunately, but hey, he's got the right commitment. That's all that really matters.
Going reasonably well. Look, his first run was an 87.7. So his first run was already a pretty high score.
Yeah.
It's currently good enough for position 4. I don't know if it was as good on his second run. It looked like he sort of had a bit of a correction coming off the wall into the first outside touch and go on the crossover part of the track. So looked like a bit of a steering correction. It wasn't as smooth and floaty as we've seen from Danny. But we'll see what Cam Martin's got now. Obviously spun on his first qualifier. He's coming hooking down the front straight. Cam Martin, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of angle at turn 1. A lot of foot brake to try and manage his position on track. Gets through the touch and go zones and into the final zone. I mean, it's certainly better than his first lap. Give him that.
100%, 100%. He completed the lap. He's going to get some decent scores down. His left foot brake was a lot of it.
There was a lot of it. There was word in driver's briefing. We didn't want too much foot brake. Like, yes, you've got to be able to manage your line. You can use it, but that was a lot. So
exciting run.
Yeah.
It was smoke show, it was typical cam run. Lots
Angle.
of smoke, angles.
Epic angle. It was, you know, he's going to be a high-scoring qualifier for his second run, but man, that's a lot of pressure. After spinning, you've got to go, oh, I need to go hard.
Yeah, 100%. He was chasing that. He's chasing number one. He always is chasing number one. He puts down some phenomenal competitive laps over and over and over again. So, you know, it's good. He was struggling with a little bit of a left foot brake in practice. The judges were giving his spotter, Sean, a little bit of a heads up, saying, hey mate, let him know, not too crazy in the left foot brake. And yeah, we'll see how we go. See where he places in the grid.
All right, we are rocking through this qualifying. There is only a couple of cars to go, one of which on track is Marcus Backy McCarthy, heading out for his second qualifier right now. A huge entry into that one. Misses zone 2, the touch and go, gets the third one, floats down the hill into the fourth touch and go. Absolutely gets it done. But I think he just went a little too hard. His entry on 1 was pretty huge, but it did off the wall early and didn't get into that first outside zone. Here it is on the Vertec base water replay. Missed it by about a car's length. And did miss the second touch and go zone for the first one on the crossover with the back of the car by at least a car length.
Yeah, look, that is definitely not going to float for the line department, unfortunately, so Marcus will take some heavy penalties for that. But on the line next, we have Patrick Barley. Ladies and gentlemen, here, people that are here, get your phone out. This is the C6 Corvette.
Carbon Kevlar body.
Carbon bloody Kevlar.
The sprint car engine. It's absolute monster. And the Barley family have got a lot of racing heritage. And here he goes. Entry into 1, up on the wall for Patrick. Touch into 2, touch into 3, just posting on the throttle. Finishes the lap, full noise with a mountain of tyre smoke coming off the back of the car.
That thing is amazing to see. The level of car that is at. It's a Formula Drift car.
Yeah.
It is a pro car. Barley did a great job there on outside zone 1. Then goes deep on 2 with a little bit of left foot brake to try and get out to that distance. A phenomenal job on 3. Nice and deep on 4. Lines the angle in. A little bit of adjustments as he leaves 4, but all in all, mint.
Absolutely awesome run. We know that he could probably sit on big angle on a bit more power. He does. I think Patrick always leaves a little bit in the tank. He knows he's got a little bit more when it comes battle time, but still a very impressive run. We have rolling up to the start line now for his second qualifying run. Roger Ianson from South Australia competes in the National Series. Certain dominant force last round, got some silverware.
Yeah.
To do it again at round 2.
Oh yeah, 100%. He wants to take the 2024 Emery Championship trophy, no doubt. But Roger Ianson last run was an 87.8. He held that for quite some time as we were running through the remainder of the qualifying drivers. So it'd be interesting to see if he turns it up to 11 and manages to try and snipe the top spot of Timmy Rogers. But here we go. Roger Ianson. Weight transfers the car up onto the wall. Great job. Outside zone 1. A little bit of a tire drop as he approaches 2. Snap angle over to 3. Goes nice and deep into 4. Placid. Great angle. Lazy on the throttle. Like, it's just, the car's just amazing. It looks fun to drive.
It's a 2J powered S15 and it's got plenty under the right foot. He certainly went harder coming into the first corner. Here it is on the Vertec base water replay. That entry was pretty wild and he knew that it was going to go deep, so he had to wind a bit of angle out, slow the car up a bit. Maybe could have stayed on big angle and used the angle to slow the car down a little bit, but it's such a wild feeling. You're doing over 100 k's an hour and you're about to go launching off the track. It's a pretty scary sort of moment, but overall a very impressive lap. Looks pretty mega, and he's still very much a high qualifying driver. We'll see where he lands on track right now on screen.
Here we
Obviously
go.
got the car fixed, which is
Yeah.
great.
He found a fuel cell. That's amazing.
Ben Brentnell, second half of Murray River Motorsport. From up on the Murray, don't know exactly where they're from, I can't remember. Maruga, New South Wales.
New South Wales, up on the river somewhere.
All right, Ben Brentnell going for his one and only lap. As long as he initiates, if he still needs to work on the car, he's all good, but it is a V8 powered S13. He's still got some vehicle dramas by the looks of things. Can he do something? We need a skid. All right, so obviously still has some kind of mechanical gremlins going on with that car. Nothing worse than trying to repair your car after practice to then get out for qualifying to then try and battle. So we haven't seen a whole lot from that car from the rest of the day, but I reckon his team will be under the back of it trying to work that out. But that is everyone. By the looks of it, looking at my sheet, ladies and gentlemen, that is our qualifying session complete for round 2 of the Autobahn KIR Drift Championship for 2024. What a great shot of Calder Park Thunderdome and the National Circuit. Thank you guys for coming out to the track, but now is a chance for you to grab a bite to eat, grab a drink, put some more sunscreen on, look after yourselves, and we're going to be back really soon with battles after a short little break. We'll make sure all of our drivers are seated in their battle trees. We'll make sure the track is all sorted, and we're going to be going into battles very, very soon.
Whether you're drifting, grip racing, or heading to the drag strip, oil changes are a must. You also need tools so you can be at the track all day long, just in case you bin it. And if you do bin it, grab yourself some paint to touch up your car to make it look great again. Make sure you're prepared, and whatever happens at home or on track, get it done right at Autobahn.
And everybody looking at me while I got them all in my sights. Picking them off, taking them out, looking like daylight in the night. And I'm killing so many if they really want to get involved. And everybody falling from the elevator, now I'm Bray Rice in this. It's like I'm rice and take a bite, it's nice. And I have a nice time with it. By the time that it finds the way to the right side of him, not even a Heimlich can save him. I select the finger to you imbeciles. Tell me what's been getting into you. I don't give a damn, like a auto with no time to kill. I've been feeling like the opposite of work. It's a work and I never been a purpose thing to me. I just do what I
I'ma keep winning, winning. I'ma keep winning, winning. Ooh. I'ma keep winning, winning. You can try to save yourself, but you only gon' play yourself. You can try to save yourself, but you only gon' play yourself. You can try to save yourself, but you only gon' play yourself. You can try to save yourself, but you only gon' play yourself.
Yeah, you gon' need 100 men, 100 scopes, 100 cans just for you to watch what I'm doing under the sun again. God-given gift, MCs doing the running man. If you want me to get it poppin', may cost 100 pence. Yeah, what I supply is always in demand. The throne is mine, take that. It ain't a high five, got the upper hand. I'm too real, can't fake that. Who you know putting fear in them like this? You a vampire, still suck when you bite this. Lord forgive me for my sins, I'm feeling righteous. But they been next to me to show me I might just. They didn't think I could do it, I had to demonstrate how the flow is so heavenly, keeping demons straight. Who they fooling? I showed them the jig is up again. When I asked them who is the best to get this to stuttering, tell them
I'ma keep winning, winning. I'ma keep winning, winning. Ooh. I'ma keep winning, winning. You can try to save yourself, but you only gon' play yourself. You can try to save yourself, but you only gon' play yourself. You can try to save yourself, but you only gon' play yourself. You can try to save yourself, but you only gon' play yourself.
I came this far, nothing can't stop me now. They knock me down, but they can't count me out. I can't lose, I won't lose. I can't lose, I won't lose. You may wanna save yourself. I think it's best you run away. I won't let you finish. When you came for me, you played yourself. You scream for help. It's a shame that nobody will hit with. No pain, no gain. Watch who you bang with. Make it to the top with the same ones I came with. I shoot my shot, you better know that I'ma never miss. When they coming for me, yeah, I'm gonna tell them this.
I'ma keep winning, winning. I'ma keep winning, winning. Ooh. I'ma keep winning, winning. You can try to save yourself, but you only gon' play yourself. You can try to save yourself, but you only gon' play
came up a lot, it sounds. More when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. My name came up a lot, it sounds. More when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. My name came up a lot, it sounds. More when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. I'm a OG boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. OG boy.
Day we hustle, but the night we
OG boy. Know that they ride or die. I'm a OG boy. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side.
day we hustle, but
Know that they ride or die. Cold, these brothers my guys. Know that they fly. Know that they fly. Know that they ride or die. Cold, these brothers my guys. Know that they fly. Know that they fly. Know that they ride or die. CJ Ike, they ain't no longer about.